Oh, hey, I'm Al.
Hey, I'm Peej.
And welcome to Are You Still Watching, the show where we talk about everything that you can stream from your couch right now. This week we're reviewing Jerry Seinfeld's new Netflix special, 23 Hours to Kill. If you have already seen 23 Hours to Kill, then screw this review. Go to our description where you can find a spoiler-filled review. We'll tell you everything we thought about the special in full detail. And if you want more movies in your life, then please hit that subscribe button down below and give us a thumbs up. It seriously helps us, plus we will help you by giving great recommendations for movies and TV that you can stream every single week. So what are we waiting for? Let's get into the review.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
23 Hours to Kill came out this year in 2020. It was directed by Joe DeMaio, starring Jerry Seinfeld, of course. It is exactly 1 hour long. Get it? It's exactly an hour long. 23 Hours to Kill. He's making a joke, people.
I got it.
And it is currently available to stream on Netflix, the king of stand-up comedy specials. So let's rewind for a second. Way back to 1977, 43 years ago, this TV show called The Celebrity Cabaret introduces to the nation, for the very first time, a new comedian named Jerry Seinfeld. And would you look at the width of those pant legs? Good God, and that collar! So yeah, Jerry's been in the game for quite a while. A decade of stand-up comedy later, and he's become pretty popular. Now he's talking with this dude Larry David about writing a TV show. It's called Seinfeld. Have you ever heard of it? The TV show turns out to be one of the funniest things that planet Earth has ever seen. Jerry drops one last comedy special in 1998 and goes out with a comedy bang. So here we are 22 years later. Jerry Seinfeld is worth almost $1 billion, and he's decided to hit the stage one more time and try to make us laugh again. So Peach, the big question, did Jerry make you laugh?
Jerry did make me laugh. Correct. And I was a little nervous going in, to be perfectly honest with you, because, I mean, Seinfeld's the GOAT. You know, I don't really need to say much about that. We're all on the same page. We know Seinfeld is one of the best shows of all time. Not comedies, not sitcoms, just shows in general. One of the best. So that does need to be disputed, but I would say what is up to debate is Jerry Seinfeld one of the elite stand-up comics?
True.
Because, personally, I don't put him up there with my personal favorites like Dave Chappelle, Louis C.K., even newcomers like Nate Bargatze. I prefer their style a little bit more as opposed to the clean sort of observational comedy that Seinfeld is iconic for. So, although he did make me laugh during the special, I was never bursting out with, uncontrollable laughter. Although I would say some of the jokes hit me and they were good. You know, I liked it overall.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I love stand-up comedy too. Big stand-up comedy nerd. And I think Jerry Seinfeld is really funny. He's not my favorite comedian ever. Not in my personal top 5 of stand-up comedians that I enjoy. But he is a great stand-up comedian. And I think he's legendary for a reason. But I somehow feel like I have to defend this opinion because a lot of people don't like Jerry Seinfeld and they don't like his stand-up comedy. Whether you like him or not, I mean, you've got to respect Seinfeld's stand-up performances. He's extremely professional. He's clean, which is unbelievably hard in comedy. And his jokes are universal.
Especially these days.
Anybody could tell his jokes. Young, old, whatever demographic you're from, you know what Jerry's joking about. You can laugh at the jokes. Anybody could tell those jokes and get a laugh as well. And Jerry is like a joke craftsman for that reason. And just watching him, it's astounding how precise every joke that he hits is. And he still has got it at 64 years old or something. I forget what he said, but he is put on some years, man.
Yeah, and he definitely still has that comedy that he's famous for, that sort of observational comedy that you mentioned. But I'd say that something that this added to that I haven't seen him do in the past was, and he didn't do it like totally, but I'd say just a little bit more was, let us peer into his life a little bit. And, he's very good at letting us relate to everyday things. Not so much at relating to everyday life of a billionaire. Exactly. So we were able to do that a little bit. One of the sort of elephants in the room, I guess, would be like Seinfeld has been notoriously single and kind of just been dating women for years.
Yeah, yeah.
And he kind of addressed that and was like, yeah, now I'm married. I've got 3 kids. I did it all when I was 45. Like, he gets into it a little bit. I'm obviously not going to spoil any of the jokes,
right.
but
yeah.
Some of that is stuff that other comedians do and do really well. I felt like Seinfeld tried it on this one, and it went pretty well. It was some of my favorite parts.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that he had me laughing pretty hard on and off throughout. Not every joke hit, but I did get classic quintessential Jerry Seinfeld for 90% of the stand-up special. And then right at the end, he gives you some new stuff where he's a little bit more reflective than he had been in the past, which you're right about. Some of the jokes, like I said, kind of fell flat, but it's okay. It's Seinfeld. He's not going to sit on it. 5 seconds later, you're going to be on to another punchline. And that's part of why I think he's such a master of his craft. And it really kept me entertained the whole time, even when some jokes didn't hit.
Have you ever seen on YouTube, there's a comedian roundtable with Chris Rock, Ricky Gervais, Louis C.K., and Jerry Seinfeld?
Absolutely. I love that video.
It's hilarious, right? And it's very introspective, like what actually makes things funny. You know, like what's at the heart and the root of comedy.
Right.
And it's very interesting to see them compare their stand-up styles. And something that I thought was interesting is, you know, Seinfeld very rarely throws away his routine. He more so performs his greatest hits every time and just tries to get better at it each time.
Right.
So he has like
just small changes each show, not a whole new set.
Yeah, and that varied as to some of the other comics on the panel because they were like, I can't do that. I need to throw out my whole act every year or I'll get stale.
Right, and it really comments on Jerry's professionalism too, because he can do this comedy like it's work, where other people are like, dude, this is art. I need more freedom.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I really like that comedians roundtable too, because you can see how hilarious these guys are just in regular conversation. They just have this funny bone. Their brain is always thinking of funny things, and Jerry seems to be a master of that because he'll be sitting there not laughing, just being totally serious, and then throw out something that's unbelievably funny that he just noticed. And he might not even say it in a funny way. He'll say it with just a straight tone. Hey, I just noticed this funny thing. And then when you think about it, you go, oh, that's a hilarious bit that he just noticed. This guy's like a very precise tool worker when it comes to making jokes.
Yeah, so overall, I laughed. I didn't keel over, you know, bursting, but I enjoyed it. I don't regret watching it. I probably wouldn't recommend it to a friend, but maybe. It's probably right on the bubble of that, you know, probably a very weary recommendation. And I won't watch it again. So with that being said, I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10. Mild recommendation.
I'm close to you here. I, too, really liked watching it. I might watch it again, maybe with a Jerry Seinfeld fan. And I would only recommend this to a Seinfeld fan, because what you get is Seinfeld. So if you go into it and you already like Seinfeld, you'll love it. If you hate Seinfeld, you'll hate it. And
you're not going to get Seinfeld.
Yeah, that's for sure. And for that reason, I can't give it an 8 or a 9, even though I loved it, because I don't really recommend it unless you want to watch it. It was good, though. So I'll give it a 7.9. So Rotten Tomatoes was actually a little harsh compared to us. The critics on Rotten Tomatoes have a 71% score right now, and the audience only has a 50. People are split. Half the people don't like this, half the people like it.
I think they're being a little harsh. Come on.
I think people are being a little bit harsh too.
The guy made the greatest sitcom of all time.
It's true, yeah. It's kind of like if Babe Ruth came back today and tried to play in the MLB, he'd probably get destroyed. But at least if he got a hit, you'd be like, damn, that guy was pretty good for 1946 or whenever he played. Jerry Seinfeld's from the 70s, people. If you watch this, you've got to understand this guy's been doing jokes since before color TV.
Yeah, definitely. And then I liked how he even made reference to the fact that he was like, when I was a kid, I used to eat like shredded wheat. Remember that joke? He was like, I ate shredded wheat and I like tore up my mouth. And it's so true. Like life sucked back then. Like he wasn't poor. You know, I think he grew up in Long Island or Queens or I don't know.
He grew up in New York. Unfortunately, despite the fact that we know on Rotten Tomatoes that people are split pretty much 50-50 on this, we'll never know how successful it is because Netflix doesn't release their numbers. So we have no ticket sales numbers to go off. We have no DVD sales numbers to go off. We're just going to have to go off our opinions. In my opinion, I think it was pretty good.
Well, thanks for picking the movie or TV show this week, comedy special, whatever. I have the pick for next week, and I have chosen Bad Education, which is streaming right now on HBO. go do yourself a favor. I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard good things. So do yourself a favor and watch that. If it sucks, remember I haven't seen it yet, so
blame Peej.
Don't get mad at me.
Blame Peej if it sucks.
Come back next week and watch. We're going to go into deep analysis, breaks down, explanations, Rotten Tomatoes, our own personal ratings, budget, gross, trivia, all that good stuff. Join us here, same place, same time, same seat, same beer, and
same bad
stuff.
haircuts.
Yeah.
Same everything. We do the same thing every week, people. Join us again next week.
See you then.
My God!